Have you ever wondered why the world seems to be full of people who test your patience every day? That work meeting that's supposed to be productive but turns into a battlefield of inflated egos. That driver who cuts you off and then has the nerve to insult you, as if you were the problem. Or maybe someone closer, a friend, a family member, someone who exhausts you just by existing. But is it just your impression, or is the world truly infested with idiots? Robert Sutton, the author of the book that inspired this video, makes it clear. Idiots exist. They are everywhere. And the worst part is that they thrive in environments that encourage their toxicity. If you feel surrounded by them, trust me, you're not alone. But here's the real question. How do you identify them and avoid them without losing your sanity? Because if you've ever spent entire nights replaying a pointless argument in your head or felt your energy drained just by being near someone, you know this isn't just about dealing with others. It's about protecting your own peace of mind. Mark Twain said it best. Never argue with an idiot. They will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. And yes, that makes sense. But what happens when the idiot in question is your boss, your coworker, or even a family member? The real problem with idiots isn't just the momentary annoyance they cause, but the silent damage they leave behind. They can destroy your productivity, erode your self-esteem, and turn any environment into an emotional minefield. And no, this video isn't just a collective rant, because complaining about them won't make them disappear. The goal here is to give you a real survival strategy, how to recognize them, how to neutralize their impact, and most importantly, how to preserve your peace in a world that often seems designed to test our limits. If you've ever felt surrounded by people who seem programmed to push your buttons, stay with me, because understanding how the minds of idiots work and learning how to deal with them can be the difference between living in peace or spending your life trapped in their toxicity. But there's something Sutton teaches us that is crucial. Identifying an idiot isn't just about pointing fingers. It's also about recognizing the effect they have on you. Because the uncomfortable truth is that if you spend too much time around idiots, you might start absorbing their behavior. Without realizing it, you could begin to normalize abuse, become cynical, irritable, and defensive. You might even start acting the same way. That's why the first step to dealing with idiots is recognizing them for what they are. If someone constantly makes you feel less, if their presence alters your mood, or if you have to mentally prepare yourself to interact with them, you may have identified an idiot in your life. Now the question is, how do you deal with this? And more importantly, how do you prevent their toxicity from becoming your own? Living with idiots isn't just irritating, it's harmful to your health. And no, this isn't an exaggeration. The toxic behavior of these people doesn't just ruin your day. It can compromise your physical and mental well-being in the long run. Studies show that continuous exposure to negative environments can increase chronic stress, raise blood pressure, and even shorten life expectancy. In other words, that passive-aggressive coworker who pushes your buttons every day isn't just ruining your mood. They could literally be shortening your life. The toxicity of idiots isn't limited to fleeting moments of irritation. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like someone drained your energy, as if somehow you lost a piece of your sanity? This happens because negative interactions activate our defense system, releasing cortisol, the stress hormone. If this happens occasionally, it's no big deal. But when exposure is constant, your brain enters a permanent state of alert, affecting your sleep, concentration, and even your ability to make rational decisions. The impact of idiots extends to other areas of your life as well. Research has shown that employees in toxic work environments often bring that stress home, affecting their relationships and self-esteem. You may start doubting your abilities, losing motivation, and over time, even avoiding social interaction, even with people who have nothing to do with the toxicity you're experiencing. Moreover, when you're surrounded by idiots, your own behavior can change without you even noticing. Sutton explains that negativity is contagious. If an environment is dominated by manipulative and aggressive people, even those who aren't naturally like that can become reactive, distrustful, and even hostile. It's like breathing in an invisible smoke that slowly intoxicates you, until one day, you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the person you've become. Another key point: the mental energy you waste dealing with idiots could be used for something far more productive. How many times have you spent hours mentally rehearsing responses to a toxic person? How many sleepless nights have you spent replaying pointless arguments in your head? When you allow idiots to take up space in your mind, you give them a power they should never have. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." But of course, all of this is easier said than done, because when you deal with an idiot daily, whether at work, within your family, or in social circles, ignoring them isn't enough. You need to develop strategies to minimize the impact these people have on you. In the end, if living with idiots can steal your peace, learning to avoid them might be the key to getting it back. Take a moment to reflect. Who are the idiots draining your energy today? And more importantly, how can you start protecting yourself from them before they take an even greater toll on your sanity? The secret isn't about beating them at their own game, but learning to neutralize them without draining your energy. The best strategy to dodge an idiot isn't to confront them directly, but to make them irrelevant in your life. The first technique is one of the most powerful yet least used: calculated indifference. Idiots thrive on reactions. They live to provoke, irritate, and manipulate. When you respond with anger or frustration, you fall into their trap. But if you treat their words and actions as insignificant, they lose their power over you. This isn't about ignoring everything but choosing your battles wisely. Ask yourself, does this person really deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. Another key resource is strategic emotional control. A common mistake when dealing with idiots is reacting impulsively. But patience and silence can be more effective weapons than any sharp reply. When you don't rush to respond, you stay in control. Take a deep breath and answer only if necessary, in a calm and objective manner. Nothing disarms an idiot more than seeing they failed to get under your skin. If you can't avoid a toxic person, like a coworker or a boss, you need a psychological shield. Imagine that person as a predictable character who always behaves the same way. This reduces the emotional impact of their words. Instead of thinking, "They're attacking me," think, "Here they go again with the same ridiculous attitude." Creating emotional distance prevents their poison from affecting you. But what happens when the toxicity becomes unbearable? There are moments when confrontation is inevitable. The key is to do it strategically. Never expect an idiot to change. Instead, set clear boundaries. Be direct and leave no room for misinterpretation. "I'm not going to accept these kinds of comments," or If you continue, I won't engage in this conversation. Don't get into debates. Idiots use them to twist everything. Be brief, firm, and end the discussion. Humor is also a powerful weapon. Idiots take themselves too seriously, and a dose of irony can throw them off balance. If a boss tries to belittle you with a sarcastic remark, instead of justifying yourself, respond with a smile and a witty comment. This not only protects you, but turns the provocation back on them without losing your composure. Finally, there's the ultimate solution: intelligent distancing. If toxicity is the rule rather than the exception, consider leaving that environment. Sometimes the only way to protect your peace is to walk away. No salary, friendship, or commitment is worth living in a space that destroys your peace of mind. Dealing with idiots isn't about defeating them. It's about making sure they don't defeat you. Protect your energy, choose your battles, and remember, the best way to beat an idiot is to refuse to play their game. In these situations, silence can be interpreted as weakness. That's why the secret isn't just choosing between confrontation or ignoring. It's knowing which strategy to use in each scenario. When to ignore. Ignoring an idiot is the best option when the interaction has no real consequences for you. If it's a stranger online trying to provoke you, a coworker whose comment doesn't affect your reputation, or a distant acquaintance throwing meaningless passive-aggressive remarks, the best move is not to play their game. In these cases, silence shows that you don't care, and nothing frustrates an idiot more than realizing they failed to make an impact. But there are moments when ignoring can be dangerous. If someone in your workplace is trying to discredit you, spread rumors, or undermine your authority, staying silent will only give them more space. If someone uses passive-aggressiveness or subtle humiliation to belittle you, ignoring them can be seen as acceptance. And if a friend or family member repeatedly crosses your boundaries, silence can perpetuate the cycle. When to confront. Confronting an idiot doesn't mean engaging in an emotional fight. If you lose your temper, they've already won. The ideal confrontation is cold, calculated, and based on facts. Sutton suggests that, whenever possible, publicly exposing an idiot's behavior is one of the most effective ways to disarm them. Imagine a coworker trying to take credit for your work in a meeting. Instead of arguing or making a scene, you could simply say, "I'm glad you liked my idea. I developed this concept after a lot of research, and I'm happy to see it's being well received." No aggression, no fights, just a clear statement that neutralizes their attempt at stealing your recognition. Another crucial factor in deciding whether to respond is power. Where does this idiot stand in the hierarchy of your life? If it's a direct superior at work, an open confrontation could have negative consequences, making it smarter to document their actions and seek support through proper channels. If it's someone at your level, a strategic response may be enough to set boundaries. And if it's someone below you in the power structure, it's essential not to lower yourself to their level. But there's one key detail that most people overlook when choosing between ignoring or confronting. Your peace of mind is worth more than being right. Sometimes, the emotional toll of staying engaged in a battle with an idiot is higher than simply walking away. Sutton reminds us that some battles are worth fighting, while others only drain us. The key question is, will confronting this person actually change anything, or will it just pull me deeper into this toxic cycle? Response. Strategies. One powerful technique when responding is the mirror effect. If an idiot constantly interrupts you, interrupt them at the same rate and say with a smile, "Do you like being interrupted? No? Then let's try talking without doing that." If someone uses sarcasm to undermine you, return it with the same tone, calculated and precise. The secret is to never show that you're emotionally affected. If an idiot senses that they've destabilized you, they'll keep doing it. In the end, the best way to defeat an idiot isn't to destroy them. It's to make them insignificant. Whether you respond or not should always be your decision, based on what benefits your peace of mind, not just the desire to get even. True power isn't about winning pointless arguments. It's about controlling where you invest your energy. So ask yourself, does this person really deserve a response? Or is the best revenge simply refusing to let them take up space in your life? Restoring your peace of mind. After identifying, dodging, and when necessary, confronting idiots, the most important question remains: how do you restore your peace of mind? How do you prevent other people's toxicity from contaminating your life? The answer isn't in changing the world. There will always be idiots, but in creating a mental and emotional space where they have no influence over you. The first key to this is understanding that you don't need to win every battle. At some point, you have to accept that some people simply won't change. Some arguments will never have a satisfying resolution, and your energy is a limited resource. Often your sanity depends on letting go. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. Another essential factor is the selection of the people around you. Surround yourself with those who bring peace, growth, and positive energy. The best defense against other people's stupidity is a life where idiots have no place. If you've spent years dealing with idiots, you might have gotten used to relationships where irony, passive-aggressiveness, and disrespect are the norm. But that doesn't have to be your reality. You can and should cultivate relationships built on genuine respect, support, and understanding. Don't settle for anything less. Robert Sutton teaches us that one of the most effective ways to neutralize the impact of idiots in our lives is by strengthening our emotional resilience. This means learning to filter out unfair criticism, building solid self-esteem, and developing a sharp sense of humor to avoid taking everything too seriously. In the end, the problem isn't always the idiot. It's the space we allow them to take up in our minds. Another key point is setting clear boundaries. Many people suffer because of idiots simply because they struggle to say no or to cut off interactions that don't serve them. But remember, no one can mistreat you without your ongoing permission. Whenever someone crosses your limits, make it known. If they persist, reduce contact. And if the environment becomes unbearable, walk away. You don't have to endure a space that drains your energy. Sutton also warns us about something most people overlook: making sure we don't become idiots ourselves. Yes, because the danger of being around toxic people is that little by little, you may start absorbing their behavior. Have you noticed that after spending too much time in a negative environment, your patience wears thin and you start responding the same way? That's the toxicity cycle, and breaking free from it requires self-awareness. Ask yourself, am I reacting to an idiot, or am I becoming one? The ultimate way to regain your sanity is to shift your focus. The more you think and talk about idiots, the more space they take up in your life. The best way to beat them isn't just to ignore them, but to build something so positive and fulfilling that their presence becomes irrelevant. Invest in what makes you happy. in people who bring you peace, and in a purpose that goes beyond just surviving the chaos. At the end of the day, idiots only have the power you allow them to have. When you learn how to handle them, you realize that the greatest trick of all isn't defeating them. It's making them completely irrelevant. If you've made it this far, congratulations. It means you're committed to protecting your sanity and refusing to let idiots control your life. And this is a path that few dare to take. Let's be honest, it's much easier to complain about idiots than to learn how to deal with them. It's more comfortable to stay frustrated than to develop strategies to neutralize their impact. But now, you have the tools. Idiots will always exist. At work, in your family, in your social circles. What changes is how you choose to interact with them. You can keep reacting the same way, exhausting yourself and getting dragged down by their toxicity. Or you can take a different path, ignore strategically, respond intelligently, and, whenever possible, walk away from what doesn't serve you. You can cling to anger and resentment, or you can just let go and move on. The most important thing to remember is that your peace of mind is worth more than any argument. Not every idiot deserves a response. Not every battle needs to be won. And at the end of the day, true power isn't about winning a debate. It's about not needing to enter one in the first place. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the worst experience you've had with an idiot? How did you handle it? Share your story in the comments. I bet everyone here has at least one to tell. And of course, if this video made sense to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Not just because I'm asking. Okay, yes, I am asking, but also because this type of content needs to reach more people struggling with other people's stupidity. And before you go, check out these videos popping up on your screen. One of them might help you handle those seemingly impossible situations even better. Which one? Well, you'll only find out if you click. See you in the next one, and remember, the best way to defeat an idiot is to live well enough that they stop mattering.